I want to welcome you to the Easy Money Live show where we go live every Friday to show you how to create opportunity out of thin air. I'm your host, Haas Pratt. Now, today we have a jam-packed session. Just like any other Easy Money show, we are here for you to help give you rapid fire strategies to go out there and make big things happen in your business and life. So I'm just going to get into today's content. I have a lot to cover. The topic of today's show is how to get more done in less time. Now, as you guys are climbing on, I'm going to read a little inspiration, as I like to do on any Easy Money Live show. And I'm going to read Decision 3, which is the active decision, which is from the book, The 7 Decisions. If you haven't read the book, it's an amazing book, incredible. And here it is. Decision 3, the active decision. I am a person of action. Beginning today, I will create a new future by creating a new one. No longer will I dwell in a pit of despair, moaning over squandered time and lost opportunity. I can do nothing about the past. My future is immediate. I will grasp it in both hands and carry it with running feet. When I am faced with the choice of doing nothing or doing something, I will always choose to act. I seize this moment, and I choose now. I am a person of action. I am energetic. I move quickly. Knowing that laziness is a sin, I will create a habit of lively behavior. I will walk with a spring in my step and a smile on my face. The lifeblood rushing through my veins is urging me upward and forward into activity and accomplishment. Wealth and prosperity hide from the sluggard, but rich rewards come to the person who moves quickly. I am a person of action. I inspire others with my activity. I am a leader. Leading is doing. To lead, I must move forward. Many move out of the way for a person on the run. Others are caught up in his wake. My activity will create a wave of success for the people who follow. My activity will be consistent. I will instill confidence in my leadership as a leader. I have the ability to encourage and inspire others to greatness. It is true, an army of sheep led by a lion would defeat an army of lions led by a sheep. I'm a person of action. I can make a decision. I can make it now. A person who moves neither left nor right is destined for mediocrity. When faced with the decision, many people say they are waiting for God. But I understand in most cases, God is waiting for me. He has given me a healthy mind to gather and sort information and the courage to come to a conclusion. I'm not a quivering dog, indecisive and fearful. My constitution is strong. My path is clear. Successful people make their decisions quickly and change their mind slowly. Failures make their decisions slowly and change their mind quickly. My decisions come quickly and they lead to victory. I am a person of action. I am daring. I am courageous. Fear no longer has a place in my life. For too long, fear has outweighed my desire to make things better for my family. Never again. I've exposed fear as a vapor, an imposter who never has any power over me in the first place. I do not fear opinion, gossip, or the idle chatter of monkeys, for all are same to me. I do not fear failure, for in my life, failure is a myth. Failure only exists for the person who quits. I do not quit. I am courageous. I am a leader. I seize this moment and I choose now. I am a person of action. Boom. Man, that is some good stuff. Let me tell you something why I read these, because that is what it takes to be a successful, thriving individual, entrepreneur, business owner, salesperson, is that winning mindset. And it's something we have always got to be working on and making sure we're putting the right thoughts into our mind. And into today's topic of how to get more done in less time, I want to help you with a formula that I have used. I've taught for years exactly how to do just this, to be a person of action. Here's what you do. The formula is to live your dream and to make big things happen. As you've heard me say it before, you got to have the right mindset. You have to have models to follow. And then 3 is you take massive action. If you're not taking enough action, just as we just discussed, then it's probably because you don't have a model to follow or your mindset's a little bit jacked. So we need to go to work on those things. Always be aggressively seeking a model to apply massive action to. And that's really what today is all about. That's what this show is all about. I'm here for you to help provide you with as many models as I possibly can. Hacks, if you will, to get things done fast, to be able to create anything out of thin air. And today, I'm going to talk about time. You know, time is something that all of us, we all have the same amount of time. The question is how do we get more done in less time? How do we extract maximum results from the amount of time we invest in anything? See, most people go through their life not looking at time the right way. And today I want to help you at this. I want to give you some tools to be able to help you look at time differently and how you spend time completely differently. So get your pen and paper. If you don't have it, get it, because I'm going to go rapid fire fast with our time that we have together. So the first thing that you must do to get more done in less time is you need to know what your time is worth. So write this question down. What is your time worth? You see, most people don't know that answer. They don't have a clue. Nothing comes to mind. They don't know. So this is the first step in getting more done in less time, is getting crystal clear with what our time is worth. So I want to help you with it. So let's say you make $100,000 a year. Then you make $50 an hour. If you make $200,000 a year, you make $100 an hour. If you make $500,000 a year, you make $250 an hour. If you make $1 million a year, you make $500 an hour. So look at what you make per year, cut it in half typically, and then that will give you a rough estimate on what your time's worth per hour. Now, why is that important? Well, because you have to delegate everything that you can do for less than that. So let's say my time's worth $100 an hour. Am I going to go out here? I'm at my home office today. I'm looking at my grass front yard. Am I going to go out there? Am I going to mow my lawn? No. It's why I have Alfonso. The guy's great. He comes for $25, mows my lawn once a week, and it saves me X amount of time. Why? Because if my time's worth X and I can get it done for less, then delegate. You see, you got to stop doing the $10 an hour work if you're going to make big things happen. And at every level you have to fire yourself, meaning what got you to where you are is exactly what's preventing you from getting to where you want to be. And what got you to where you are is not going to get you to where you want to be. And so the only way we can get to the next level consistently is if we consistently work on the right things, devote our time in the right places, and we consistently fire ourselves from the things that we shouldn't be doing. Delegate everything you can do for less than what you're worth per hour. And I'll take this a step further. I'm a little bit of a maniac on this. I mean, I do this for a living. I teach it. I live it. So for me, time's super important. I remember one time my mentor, Jimbo, told me about an exercise. He said, Hosh, you need a life timeline. You need to know in fact, he didn't call it a life timeline then. I called it that. But he said, you need to plan your life out to where you know what year it's going to be when you're 80 years old. You know how old your wife is, your children are. And so here's what I did to help me with this. This is a really powerful exercise. You would create a life timeline. And here's what you do is you go out, let's say this year's 20, let's just say it's 2020 for easy math. In 5 years, it's going to be 2025. I'm going to be X years old. My wife's going to be this old, and my children are going to be this age. In 10 years, it's going to be 2030. I'm going to be this old. My wife will be this old. We're going to have kids will be this old. Our dogs will be this old. And what I do is every 5 years, I break it out, and I know on the year how old all of us are going to be. Now, why is that important? Well, to me, family is important. It's important that I build a business that doesn't pull me away from my family. I'm a family guy. That's most important to me. And I want to know in 10 years where I want my business to be based on how old we're going to be, my children are going to be. Where do I want my business to be that year at that time? Creating a life timeline is going to give you clarity. Yes, it's a little scary for some. I mean, I will tell you, but I'll tell you this. It provides you clarity. It's called reality. And so do that. Look at a life timeline. Everybody you love. Where are you and everybody around you going to be in 10 years? The next question is, where do you want to be spending your time? Where do you want your business to be in 10 years? That's number one, is know what your time is worth. 2, identify the high leverage activities in your business. So not only do we delegate the $10 an hour work, and we only dedicate what we're good at, but here's the thing. We got to identify what we're good at. And those are called high leverage activities. Because time and effort have very little to do with making money. Meaning, I've coached real estate agents and entrepreneurs, salespeople for over a decade. I'm telling you this, most people, they don't spend their time in the right place. They don't know what their high leverage activities are. And they may work 80 hours a week, but working 80 hours a week doesn't mean that you that you're the top agent or you're number one. The hours that you work has nothing to do with it. The results that we get from that time has everything to do with it. So here's how you get better results with less time is identify your high leverage activities. And I'll give you an example in real estate. And this is actually real estate sales in a lot of different niches. But in real estate, the biggest high leverage activities that any agent needs to focus on are these. Number one is prospecting. Because in real estate, you're on a treadmill. Transaction closes, you got to go get another one. Every day, we've got to be prospecting for new business. Somebody does. You or inside salesperson, somebody on the team. So prospecting is number one. Two is presenting. Presenting meaning you're on appointments. You're meeting with the builder. You're meeting with the buyer. You're meeting with the seller. You're on listing appointments. Presenting. So every day, we need to be what? Prospecting and presenting. Third would be building relationships. It's a great use of your time. You know, anytime you're taking somebody in your database, your sphere of influence, who's referred you tons of business and you're taking them out for a nice lunch, it's a great use of time. It's a high leverage activity. And then lastly is leading. Anytime you're leading other people, you're coaching other people on how to do it. You're meeting and managing your team. Good use of your time. Those are the big four. So the high leverage activities would be prospecting, presenting, building relationships, and leading. Now, every role in your organization, every team member needs to know what their high leverage activities are. Those may be your high leverage activities, but what are your assistants' high leverage activities? What's your sales team's high leverage activities? So if you don't know what those things are, help them by giving them the activities that they need to be investing their time in. And here's the other part of this. If you do that, you'll get better at what you need to get better at. You won't get better at it if you don't do it. So identify what those high leverage activities are in your business and start doing it today. Now, some of you may be struggling with this. You may be like, well, Haas, I don't really know. I mean, I'm just so busy. I'm working 80 hours a week. I'm not getting the results I want. I don't even have time to do this. Here's what I want you to do. It's real simple. This is an exercise that my coach taught me years ago, and it's called MOLO. So I'm going to do it with you. Here we go. I'm going to write MOLO at the top, MOLO. And I'm going to write on the left-hand side, more of. I'm going to draw a line down the middle. And then on the other side, I'm going to write less of. So here's what it looks like. Great exercise. MOLO. Write down everything you need to be doing more of, and then everything you need to be doing less of. This is a very powerful exercise, not only for you, but for your team members, everybody in the organization. Do a MOLO. It'll help you identify the things that you're doing that are preventing you from investing your time in the right places. Okay, moving on. Number 3. So once we know our high leverage activities, once we know what our time is worth, and we're serious about our time, we own our time, we need to organize our days to where we get all of those activities in. Because as an entrepreneur and being self-employed, you don't have a manager, you don't have a boss telling you, hey, do this at this time, do that. So one of the things you got to do if you want to get more results with less time is you got to be able to put it on a calendar, show up and do it, because you are your manager. And the only way that you're going to do what you need to do is if it's scheduled. And so create a daily method of operations, meaning look at your day, schedule it from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed. What happens during this time? When do you do this? When do you do that? When do you prospect? When do you present? When do you take the person out to lunch? When do you have your team meetings? And if you structure it the same, where every day you work is the same, you're going to get better at it. It's going to become a habit. I'll give you an example. I followed this schedule every single day of my real estate career. I don't remember a single day that I missed. I followed it every day because for me, I will show up if it's on my calendar. If it's there, I will do it. And so I have to schedule it. And then now I know what to do. So every day I would wake up, I had a little routine in the morning. And then 8 o'clock in the morning, I'd start my day in my business. And I would bring all the leads in that happened that overnight. I'd put them into the CRM. I would do the lead stuff from 8 to 9. From 9 to noon, I was on the phone, dialing for dollars, smiling and dialing, prospecting, making calls, trying to set appointments, following up with leads. You see, that happened 9 to noon because I believe in sales in general, nothing happens until noon anyway. So don't think you're missing something in the morning. You're really not, because nothing happens until noon. So work on the money-making activities up until noon. And then from 12 o'clock, I would go to lunch. Then from 1 to 4 is when I checked emails, phone calls, met with my team, negotiated contracts, called people back. All of those things happened between 1 and 4. And then from 4 to 7, I was on appointments. For me, I've never worked a buyer in my life in my real estate business. I only listed homes. So every day I was just going on listing appointments from 4 to 7. And every day I followed that schedule. So here's why I say that. What if somebody told me, they asked me, they say, hey, Haas, I want you to come list my home. Can you meet me at 10 o'clock in the morning? You know the answer to that. The answer is no. Why? Because that's not when I do these appointments. I do those appointments 4 to 7. If we don't have a daily method of operations that's scheduled, you're going to let anyone and everything be able to control your calendar and your schedule. And you got to take control of that. So take control of your calendar, schedule everything, including the activities that are going to be your high leverage activities, but also include the vacations. Always have something to look forward to. Next, number 4 on how to get more done in less time. Now, here's the deal, y'all. We all have 24 hours, right? I mean, we all do. You have the same amount of time as I do. How do we get more done in less time? Yes, be intentional with how and where we spend it. But here's another little secret I want to give you. You want to repurpose your time. Repurposing time is the magic. This is the secret sauce. This is what it's all about. If you can learn and master to repurpose your time, you're going to be able to get double, triple, quadruple the amount of results from the time that you're investing. So whatever it is you're doing, repurpose your time. I'll give you some examples. I know, like when I was on the phone and I was prospecting, I was doing something in my right hand while that phone was ringing. I wasn't sitting here waiting. I was usually writing handwritten notes, handwriting envelopes. I was doing these things while the phone was ringing. If I'm going mountain biking, I'm going to choose not to listen to music, because I want to what? I want to repurpose my time. So maybe I listen to an audiobook. Maybe I listen to a coaching session or a podcast. Why? Because I'm getting it in my mind while I'm doing the other thing. Look at ways that you can structure your days. I mean, this morning I took my kids to school. What did I do? Well, I wanted to get a little Jim Rohn in them. And so I was intentional with repurposing our time on the way to school by hitting play and letting Jim Rohn's wisdom power through those speakers. That's repurposing time. Just like this, I'm doing this podcast or this live show. Guess what? This live show could be repurposed into a chapter in a book. It can be repurposed into blog posts, into reports. I can turn it into more. And there's always the ability to repurpose your time always exists. But you're not going to see it unless you know to look for it. So don't just focus on doing one thing. I'm not saying try to do tons of things at once. I'm not saying to do that. I'm saying repurposing time usually comes in doing 2 things at once. And if you train your mind and train the way you do it, it's of something that I've learned and I've trained myself. I wouldn't have it any other way. It's the only way I could get the books in me. It's the only way that I can get the content out is by repurposing the time. And so look at your own business. Look at your own time that you're investing and where can you repurpose it? And I'm going to leave you with this. Where are we at here? All right. Next is your massive action steps. I know in the Easy Money live show, we cover a lot, but here's the deal. These are all about the most important things to be able to go out and not only succeed, but create opportunity out of thin air anywhere. Timing is everything. Time is everything. And so we got to do the work to get the most results out of our time on the Easy Money show. So here we go. We're not going to talk about it. We're going to be about it, right? We're going to do the work. So here's your massive actions to take to start getting more done in less time. Identify what your time is worth. What is your time worth and know what it is? I want you to write it down. And I want to challenge you to double this year. If it's $50 an hour, I want you to be worth $100 an hour. If it's $100 an hour, I want you to focus on making that number $200 an hour. Why? Because you can and you should. 2 is identify your high leverage activities, the big 3 or the big 4, the things that you're going to do every day, the money making activities. Remember, it's not about how much time you invest. It's about how much of that time were money making activities. And do the MOLO exercise now, frequently and consistently, because the MOLO is going to help you get clarity on things that you need to be doing. I would do the MOLO sheet with every team member on your team. Make them do it, because you're going to see things they're doing you didn't even know that they were doing, things that they're doing they shouldn't be doing. And it all starts with the MOLO sheet. And lastly is the daily method of operations. Look, you've got to have a daily method of operations that allow you to get the most important things done in your day. And not only do you need it, but so does your team. So let's do these things. And I promise you this, if you create that life timeline too, that's going to give you tons of clarity. But these things are going to help change the way you think. And that's where time ownership starts. Getting more done in less time starts with changing how you view time. And to change the way you view time, you got to get awareness. And hopefully today you are aware. So thank you guys for joining me. I want to remind everybody, every Friday at noon, we go live here on Facebook. I go live with my Easy Money Live show where it's all meat and potatoes to help you in a condensed 20 minutes to get as much out of it as possible. And I want to encourage you to go to easymoneysales.com. It's easymoneysales.com. I'm writing a book called Easy Money, how to create opportunity out of thin air and dominate your niche. You can go there to get more information on it. And then every week we have a podcast, the Self-Made Podcast, where I interview self-made millionaire entrepreneurs from many different industries and niches. These people are amazing. They are really, really good at what they do. And so with Self-Made, I'm interviewing them. They're sharing their best stuff, their best secrets with you, my audience. So go sign up for that. Register for the podcast. You can subscribe to it at bossnationmedia.com. That's BOSS Nation, NATION media.com. Let's go out there. Have an amazing weekend. I hope you enjoyed today's training. If you would, leave your comments. Give me a like. Give me a heart. That's what we work for here, to make sure we're making an impact. So thank you guys for joining me on this episode of the Easy Money Live Show. Go out there and make things happen.